Hi, Jay. It's Erin from Philly. Calling about bonus show number 66. First, just wanted to say I'm enjoying the new format, and if you wanted to keep it to, we will release a show when Jay and Amanda have something interesting to talk about. I'm totally on board for that. As far as the article that you discussed, I read the same article you have floated around my social media world, and the only thing I have to add to that conversation is it's one of those little axioms that you're thrown around, and it's something to the effect of, don't attribute to malice what can be better explained by ignorance. And I think when it comes to intra-progressive conversations, that's sort of the thing that gets lost. And I totally understand why. When you're talking to your opponents all the time, when you're talking to conservatives or the religious right or whoever, and they're not speaking from ignorance, that they are in fact speaking from malice, that you want to respond in a particular way. And it gets hard to get out of that habit. And so when someone on your side, and it's totally on your side, and it's not speaking maliciously, but it just makes a genuine error out of ignorance, it's just easy to fall into that trap of responding the same way. So I guess if I had any advice to folks having those conversations, that would be yes. And then on the last note, I just want to endorse by way of anecdote and origin story, and I apologize because I know origin stories are the worst part of superhero movies. But endorse your simplification about the transcontagion hypothesis, and use myself as an example of person A, the person who's totally trans, but depending on the universe they grew up in, would respond to it differently. I actually grew up in both universes because the universe shifted around me as I was going through transition. In middle school, when I was first beginning to realize, there's something not right here about my life, and that thing is the fact that, I'm about to go through puberty in the wrong direction. I had no concept that trans was a thing. This was in the mid-90s. I didn't have internet at home. There was nothing in the library that I could look up. There wasn't really anything on TV or in the movies for me. And so I just had no concept. I didn't know what to do. I just had this idea of, I'm really supposed to be turning into a woman, and that's not going to happen. I don't know how to deal with that. And then I went to locally, there was a youth group for gay and lesbian teens. And I went to that group, and I'm going to use some outdated terminology, or what I think would be considered outdated terminology today, but this is what the person identified. There was somebody there who identified as a transvestite, a cross-dresser, somebody who dressed, was assigned male, but dressed in women's clothing for pleasure, and just felt more comfortable that way, but had no desire to transition. But the thing is, the fact that that was even possible, that somebody who grew up as a boy and lived as a man, but could just be a woman when they felt like it, that blew my world open. I came home from that youth group meeting, and all of a sudden, I'm just realizing, wow, this is something that I just never believed possible, and now I know what direction I want to go in my life. And then eventually I got to college. I was able to do more research because I had the internet, and then I figured out, oh, look at that, transgender is a thing, transsexual is a thing. That describes who I am. So I went from universe A of having no concept to universe B, where as soon as I met somebody who better explained what I was going through, boom, there it is. And so I guess in theory, you could say that, I caught the trans from this person that I met at a queer youth group. So, for what that's worth, I think, at least there's one anecdote in support of your hypothesis. So, that's all I've got to say for right now. Keep doing what you're doing. Stay awesome. And I'm just going to add a little bit to the end of my call here that you can edit out if you decide to use this. then obviously this isn't necessarily great radio. And if you did want to respond, though, you've got my email address, and as they say on radio, I'll be happy to take my response on there. Anyway, hope you and Amanda are doing great. And keep up great work, both of you.